man, I'm telling you, I feel like sick this morning. I don't know what the fuck they are spraying on us. Like, god damn. I can't even believe it. My stomach is just like, I'm so fucking nauseous. And just keep burping and burping and burping and the nausea and stuff. Oh man, I'm sick of it. It feels like inside of me, like everything feels worn out. Like it just is like, come on. I'm just so tired of this shit. Oh my God. Let me think what I was going to talk about. I have been painting when I got up because I woke up and I was laying, I'm having this thing too when I'm asleep. It is like I have no awareness at all. Like I don't think I'm even here at all or something. And all of a sudden I'll wake up and I'll be just like, I don't know where I'm at. I don't know where Stella's at. So I have to like, reorient myself. And anyways, I woke up this morning, I was laying in bed and I was thinking, and then Stella started crying. I swear to God, she can hear me, my mind wake up. And so then I just went ahead and got up. It was like 2:45. And so I was like, oh, well, fuck it. Just go ahead and get up and started, doing whatever. And I had no internet. And so it was like I kept trying, I tried my phone, I tried the TV. And even when it would say there would be internet, there would be no internet. And I kept thinking, okay, well, maybe this is it. Maybe it'll just get up and there won't be any internet. There won't be any big sirens or anything. We'll just be cut off because there won't be any internet. And then I was thinking, and then plus I've seen the Ziply truck going to neighbors' houses where people are going and buying or getting the Ziply. And I'm not switching any of this shit. Especially, I don't want this one that is putting this charge under the ground. And so I was like, enough of this shit, man. And then I was like, well, maybe I wonder if it will be some of the people will go off and some of the people won't. But it would be more impactful if everybody did and all the different companies did, because then it would make people have to question it more like, why are we all losing the internet if we're not even on the same company? I don't know. I don't know how this shit's going to play out. But anyways, so I just started painting. It was so funny too, because I was kind of being, I kept looking at the picture, my reference picture, and I kept being like, man, some of those colors. I kind of was feeling intimidated a little bit. But now that I've been doing it, it's like, oh my God, I love this. I think I'm going to do another one with these same, the same kind of flower, only from a different angle or something. Really like the colors. So, anyways, that's how my day is going so far. And then my internet came back on, and I had gotten to a point where I had to stop and let stuff dry. Otherwise, it was just going to make a muddy mess. So and the internet came back on. And so I sat down and started watching TikToks, and it's just very repetitive. And I swear, my FYP page just gets messed with or something. But it seems like it's just the same stuff. What people just keep talking about and talking about. It's just the same over and over and over, like Groundhog Day. Seriously. And then one of the things, though, when I was... because I was in a really bad mood yesterday. Like it really is frustrating sometimes to be speaking so much and to not be heard. And especially when you're so driven by this other force. And then it's like, okay, you guys could do more. You could get some more, if this is what you really want. But anyways, I was having a fit. I even threw my shoes. I was like, God damn it. It's just bullshit. I'm like, everything is just so frustrating. And then, so then when I was, let me think. I'm stuck on my little fit. So then but then this morning, it was way more of like, well, if you were out there talking and everybody could hear you, and they wouldn't know what the fuck you're talking about. They're not there yet. They're not ready to hear. And so that's what they were, telling me. So cool your jets, sister. Just sit down and calm down. We'll let you know when it's your time. I was like, come on, you guys. This is frustrating. I'm always talking to them. I'm always telling them, like, y'all have no idea how frustrating this is. And they'll have these conversations, and it's like, I'll explain to them what this feels like. I was even sitting there, like, to my higher self yesterday, well, you're a real bitch ass. Like, if you want to sit here and just watch me suffer, like, this is some bullshit. Like, how sick can I get? Let's watch. It's like, this is some fucking bullshit, man. So, I was being a real, I don't know, kind of like a teenager to their higher self. Like, I'm not going to put up with this anymore. I'm moving out. I'm leaving this place. It's like, I don't need this shit. You want to sit there and watch how you react, and you want to see how sick you can fucking get? This sucks. This isn't fun. This is fucked up. To me, it feels like at this point is like, if we're awake, we should be able to set our fucking appointments. If we want to go to the Redemption Center, if we want to go to the Healing Center, fucking let us set our appointment. Like, what more do we have to do? We have woke up. It's like, this is mental. And we have to wait for everybody to wake up, and then we all get to fight for the same fucking appointment. It's just the same fucking bullshit. It's like, god damn. Put some hidden messages out there for the people who are awake. Like, set up your appointment. Go to this, go to that. I want to fucking get in the med bed. I am so fucking sick of feeling sick. I am so sick of my joints hurting so bad. And I just saw, this was somebody who's there's so much talk about that stuff right now. Like, that's everywhere. Like, the Budweiser commercial just like, it blew up. Everybody, like, even Kid Rock is like coming out like, he's really mad about this Budweiser thing. I don't fucking drink Budweiser, but there's a lot of people who do. My dad did. I liked it when I was a kid. I was always drinking it. I'll get you a beer. Chug it halfway gone, and you can get, I swear to God, I was 6 years old, I'd chug it half a beer and take it to him. He'd be like, you gotta quit drinking my beer when you're bringing it to me. It's like, okay, Dad. My dad and his drinking, it was like, anyways, I think it should be that we should be able to move forward when we're to a certain point. We shouldn't keep being held back. This is so frustrating to just sit here and watch, people, they just don't see things. They don't see things clearly. Like, there's so much arguing over the money thing and all this panic. It's like, people survived before they created the dollar. Shocking. Shockingly, it's like, people, like, they're so stuck and dependent on the way things are. It's like, you got to let it go. You got to let things shift. What we had was toxic. It wasn't good for anybody. You gotta let it go. But the things that I wanted to talk about was more of like this, because yesterday, so that Endless Love had popped up, like I had talked about, which was so strange, I thought. Like, one of them, I watched the documentary on Hulu, and then later on YouTube, Endless Love pops up. Like, our stuff is all connected. Like, I've had other movies pop up with somebody. Like, I'm watching something on another channel, and then I'll go on another channel, and the same person will pop up. Like, our AI, or our connection to that energy is there, but it's for us to start interacting with or being aware of or something. Like, it's all going to be a process in development or something, but there's just way too many things where I have seen that, like, the AI that is around me is also participating, like doing the work or something to get messages to me or something. I don't know. There's going to be, here she comes. There's going to be so much interesting stuff as we expand through this, to learn more and find out more. But anyways, so Endless Love had popped up, and there was a lot of interesting things in that I wanted to talk about. And then later in the afternoon, I was looking for something. I don't know. I'm a Lifetime movie person. No doubt about that. I just really like Lifetime movies. And so I was looking like for one of those. I mean that kind of style. And I look like I like old crime movies from the 80s or early 90s or something. And so this one, it was called Obsessed. And it had, I think it was William Devane and Shannon Doherty. And so I'm pretty sure it was a really old Lifetime movie. But it had some really toxic themes of obsession in it that I was like, okay, this is just going so much with the other one. It's weird how, like, these movies that come, like, I swear to God, they bring me movies that they want me to see. I'm not going and putting these into the search. They just pop up. And then also that Battle in Seattle, it was like they wanted me to see that there has been all of this fighting against this group for a long time, but it has been hidden. Like we didn't know, we didn't understand and stuff. There's just a lot of stuff that we're all getting clarity about. But that toxic group that has been taking over the globe for all this time had been started, and people have been fighting it. I remember, I was a teenager. I remember when the fair trade, when they started, nothing was made in America anymore. I remember. And I was young, but I really thought about it a lot. It was like I was supposed to see it and understand, but how it's come back around, then it's just given me such a broader perspective of the whole thing. And but the thing, when I was watching those two movies, there was a couple of things that I thought was really interesting. For one thing, it was like I could totally see the soul contract, the soul aspect that was playing out, that wasn't a part of the feature of what was playing out with the people, but it was like the background or something. Like I could just see as this soul, what that soul was like going through. And then in the other one too. And that's why I say, like, when these movies and stuff, like, there are stories. These aren't just made up kind of stories. These are our stories. These are souls' journey. This is like, and I think it's part of what like even intrigues us. And this was another thing too, because after I had watched the Pretty Baby one, and I was getting all this information in my head and stuff, and one of the things was like showing me how we are attached to all the people who are there during our time, and how they kind of separate. Like they create this barrier with the like idols and stuff. It's a created kind of barrier to separate us from certain information or something. Because we all come in as a collective, but then right away we're all separated. And it is kind of the journey to self, but the journey to find is the journey back to the broken teapot, kind of. Like the teapot broke and all the pieces shattered. All the pieces knew they were broken, and all the pieces didn't know who they were anymore, and they had to come back to find what they were. So it's kind of like that. And but when like in the Endless Love one, and this young boy is obsessed with this girl, and then plus he finds this whole lifestyle. Oh yeah, because in this one, so when I was going through that, and I was thinking about like, oh, we're all connected. We come in and we go through these experiences, and we're all learning as a group. And so where we think there is a barrier between these other souls, that there really isn't. So anyways, then this Endless Love movie popped up and it had James Spader in it. And I didn't know he was in it. And so that was like, they were confirming to me, like, yeah, see, you're right. But see, because I had an interaction with him. I had met him when him and his girlfriend came to the tattoo shop, and Carrie was tattooing her. I was the only person who got to stay in there. And so I was sitting there. He was talking to me about this book I was reading. And, he seemed like a really nice guy. And so anyways, it was kind of like they were just giving confirmation of, to me, that I was right. Like, yes, all these souls, even though they keep them separated or move them into a position of idol or something, we're all from the same group. Like we all, even though it's different frequencies, it's like we're all from the same system. Like this separation is created. It's not real. But anyways, so in these stories where they tell our soul stories, so in this one where this guy, James Spader is Brooke Shields' brother. And so her family is kind of like this hippie family. Her dad's a doctor, her mom's a writer, and they let their kids have all these parties all the time, and they sit around and smoke weed with them and drink and party, and it's just a big party, and they are just like these open parents. And their daughter starts having a serious relationship with this boy to the point where the parents are like, okay, we got to stop this relationship. And the boy, it was like everything was ripped out from under him. And he was going through his own stuff because his family was so like disconnected from each other. They didn't have like this kind of relationship that he was so drawn to in this other family. And so everything I was watching, I was like, I could see it from this soul's perspective of the soul coming. And this is hard to explain because of how we interact when we come back in from different lives. And so his obsession, and there's so many different ways that all these things can play out. But the obsession, so you got to imagine from a different life, these other souls playing, but they're all playing different roles. And so in the other life where they interacted with and something happened, so say, I think a common theme from a lot of past tragic life things is a lot of people lost love. Like they had somebody that they loved, but I mean, when you go back and some of the stuff through time, there was so much disease, there was so much loss. There was a lot of loss. People lost kids at young ages. People died at young ages. It was, but you got to also think, how long do you want a life to last when you're just experiencing loss? And it is kind of, for the souls, it is a part of the whole thing. Like all of that is leading us into this other. Even though we think it's just from this, what we're going through now. No, it's all these lives are leading us into the age of Aquarius. It's not just this one. It's a wrapping it up. It's like you've learned all these things through all these lives, and now you're taking it into this new age. And so that's why I said it's like a graduation. The ascension is like, what you've learned and what you remember you've learned. Because, we've all been learning stuff. It's just a lot of people's memories are blocked. A lot of people are cut off from their soul. And so that is what they're having to, that's their challenge, in this life. I swear to God, I have never in my life had to put so much dry shampoo in my hair. This is mental. I don't know what the fuck is in the water. I don't know. This whole environment is just sickening. But anyways, I just feel like there's just like nonstop. Like there's just looks like there's grease in my hair, like oil. It's so crazy. And I put so much of that dry shampoo. It's mental. Anyways, so for the soul, like in the past relationship, to give them this drive, they've had a loss. Like they were with this person, whatever how they were playing it. It could have been a mother to a child. They could have been he was the wife and she was this husband. It plays out in all different ways, but there is a loss. So this person is ripped out from under them, and then they go into another life and they find this person, but they don't remember. They don't remember how they felt about them before because they're cut off from that. But there's still this thing that has to play out. And and then you got to think about the limitations of how people understand to play it out, and the difference if you have an understanding how things play out. Like it's very different if you both understand about the soul journey when you're trying to work out your problems, instead of just thinking that it's only about this life. Because when you're thinking about it's only just this life, it doesn't really make sense, huh? Makes no sense how you have such serious issues with this person. Things just don't make sense until you start going deeper into it and start seeing, oh, this is because there's connections that go far beyond this reality. And so the person can have this person ripped out from under them, this love that they had, and then they find them in this next life, and they have this horrible fear like they're going to lose them again, so that they they have to work out like this fear. And in both of these movies, the younger person becomes so obsessed. Well, I mean, Brooke Shields is the younger person, the guy. He becomes super, super obsessed. Like he even when the parents say you have to break up, he can't let go. He can't work it out. It is because people got to see these connections are deeper. These are not just superficial connections. These are deep connections that have things that have to get worked out. And so he, is feeling all of this, is in every ounce of his being that he has to get close to this person and be able to be around them. And, part of his soul journey would be that management and controlling your emotions. Because remember, there's always that aspect of us learning how to manage ourselves, manage our emotions. And a part of that is to have a broader perspective, a bigger picture, and understand things more clearly. It is like a desperation when you don't understand things. And so he appears to be just desperately, hanging on to her in this life. And it is just way, way deeper than that. And then in the other one where it had this, Shannon Doherty is obsessed with this older man. And then it goes through and it shows her relationship with her father. And it was really showing about how there was this, a whole thing about where it was this daddy complex. I can't even remember what it was called. But it was like, I think it was around the 80s. It could have been the 90s. But it was all of a sudden where people started saying about young girls looking for their daddy, or, they had this, their dad wasn't there for them. So they were trying to replace that in these other relationships. And a lot of girls went with older men and were trying to find that security and that safety, that love that they couldn't find in their nucleus family. And so they were, grow up. And then it had where, she knew how to use her sexuality in order to manipulate this older guy. But see, she didn't have awareness of it because it was out of desperation. It's out of lower chakra. It's out of, her need for this person. She needs this person to make her feel secure. He made her feel good there for a minute. And then as soon as he pulled away, then she went into a total panic. And she was so scared and desperate. And then she would overreact about things. Like it showed so much about kind of like this borderline personality. And my daughter has talked about borderline personality so much. Like, I was hearing about it in nursing school, but you know, it's a big push on this psychology about borderline personality. And my daughter would talk about it a lot and say, you know, I mean, we all have borderline and stuff. Like, it's a lot of girls in my family, which guys can have it too. But I was like, yeah, but I believe it's a spectrum. I believe everybody, I think every girl in the world, probably most people in the world that have got some sort of dysfunction in their relationships, has got some aspect of this borderline, you know, because remember, they got to come up with labels and diagnoses, and so they hone in on some certain aspect so that they can make it bigger and, you know, develop a savior pill so we can run in and take it and we'll be all fixed. They haven't got one yet for borderline. I'm sure they'll come up with something. It'll be a mood stabilizer across the blood-brain barrier. It'll be something to fuck you up. Just like, because I didn't finish saying about this D-trans person that I saw talking, and she was saying that she was put on blockers immediately as soon as, I'm not sure how her whole conversation went with her parents and doctor or whatever. But once she had decided, you know, that she thought she was in the wrong one, immediately, you know, there was no, like, go to counseling, do that. No, none of that. Just immediately put on blockers. Then within a year, I think it was even within months, she had a double mastectomy. Like, what they're doing to these kids. And then, so she's older now, and she's outraged. She's speaking out about it, and she said she's so fucky. She's got so many issues, and she's going back to the other direction. But she said there's so many problems. She's got so many physical problems from what they have done to her. And, you know, and she's mad. And, you know, they keep doing this to more and more kids. And it is an experiment. Like, these people are realizing, like, you know, they're an experiment. Like, I mean, you're seriously signing up for these fucking swaze sticks to come in and just mutilate for their own, because they've been doing this for a long ass time. I just saw some crazy footage too of LA in the 1800s or something like that, when supposedly the population was 10,000, but the buildings could hold the whole population. These giant elaborate hotels, these giant elaborate buildings and stuff. And then they'll say founded, and founded 1913 or something. It's because the people who do that old history stuff say it's because that's when they found it. These buildings were around. They hadn't found them. Because you think about, like, when they were going out across, you know, the wagon trains heading out to California. I mean, so you're saying that they sped up, they got out there real quick, they built these giant elaborate buildings just in case some people came out that direction. Yeah. And then, you know, I mean, everything is such built on lies. So fucking ridiculous. But anyways, the kid who is obsessed, and he is really stuck. See, like, if he went in and he started trying to work on, like, meditate and try and understand why he's obsessed, go back into past life and try and understand and see, like, what happened in the last one, so they can process, like, oh, okay, so we were married and we were madly in love, and then they died, and then I found them again in this life, and I, you know, start panicking and start giving me this feeling like I could lose him, and you know, so you have to kind of override those. You have to kind of go into, you know, get into a logical place, like, oh, okay, I'm not in that life anymore, that chapter closed. But, you know, you're coming in and doing the same people, just like, you know, what is that group of people, like any of the groups, like Second City, or even SNL, or the one I keep thinking about is the one I grew up on, the British guys, the Monty Python. And so you got to think of it in that kind of sense. Like you have Monty Python come in, and then they're going to all play all different parts. It's the same guys, but they're all going to be playing different parts. Like all of these shows, these little comic skit comedy things, they are it is the same group. So that is what you got to think. Like when you are coming, you're coming with the same group. You're just scattered playing different parts. And so then, and you're going to come across the people when you're supposed to come across the people. So different people will come into your life at different times because it's supposed to be, that is how it's supposed to go. And there is no changing time. Like how they try and get us to hang up on time by their manipulation. Like, okay, so time is this, I swear to God, this burping, this absurd or obscure kind of concept. And so, and you start to realize like time is relative. It depends on what you're doing with that time, how time works. And so we have our own relationship with time. Each of us have our own relationship with time. But then we have also how time is, it's kind of like time is in control on certain aspects of reality. Time has control because of divine timing, because of the fabric is being stitched together. You have to stitch it in a seam. You can't jump over, and otherwise you have a flimsy fabric. You have chaos. So then that, everything is actually meant to be how it is and when it is and all that stuff, because it is a tightly woven fabric, where that is where time comes into play as the mover of the seam. And so as each stitch goes, and you have to know how to sew. I don't know how to sew, so I can be shown like these kinds of things. But as you're sewing and you push the pedal down, it starts going, and it starts creating every stitch. And so that is, time has to create every stitch. You can't jump stitches. And so as every stitch is created, it's like a domino effect that leads in all these different ways. And so you can have time can be, as like for me, I have, certain things in my timing. Like, and I'm always waiting on it feels like I'm always waiting on my timing. It's like I'm always standing there at the bus stop, like, come on. Where are you at? But then, they will get me to focus on something of myself, like, get over there and paint that painting. And, don't be intimidated by the colors or the pattern or whatever. And so then when I go in to do it, then I find this new side of myself. And so it is like you got to use the time. Man, some of this stuff is so hard to explain, because it's like you got to use the time and not fight time, because like yesterday when I threw my boots down the hall, I threw them into my bedroom and it hit into my dresser. I was just like, I was so frustrated. I was really, I was definitely cussing out my guides and stuff yesterday. Really fed up. And so, that's why I think they give me so many, so much about the understanding about time and destiny, and about how things have to align. Everything has its own time. It has to go through the process. It has to have each stitch laid. It has to have, because every stitch goes together to create the entire thing. And so you can't skip it. It has to be laid. And so, I'm standing up here, waiting for this stitch, and they're still back here on this stitch. I can't do anything to get it to stitch faster. It is going to stitch in the time it's going to stitch. It is out of all of our hands. And so just like with this process that I'm always bitching about, how slow ass process of awakening for the collective, and the slow ass process of turning us the other direction, and how it has to play out, how it has to, it's like it all has to hit the wall and explode in order to knock us the other direction or something. And so all of this stuff is building and building. Like, I'm really, really curious. Once I heard that thing about the storm, I was like, oh my God, that is so crazy. I swear to God, if that was when he was standing there, and he was very first in, he was with all those generals and stuff. And he said the storm, something about the storm. And they said, what storm are you talking about, sir? And he goes, you'll see. It's like, oh my God. The storm that was coming in to take them all down was, a handler, a person that had a job that was assigned. I think she's a little older to still be. So the thing is like, Allison, because I'm going to say it's kind of separate, Mac, and, Chelsea, like all of these different people. Who is it? Another, a really big one that is always being talked about is, it's not Chad, it's, I can see her. If something about her name is something with Chad or Chadwick, I don't remember. But a lot of these people are girls that come from like well-to-do families. Like if my dad would have been not so, Las Vegas gangster type, and would have been more of a, a social climber. Luckily for me, his alcoholism got in his way. Otherwise, I could have ended up in a situation like a lot of these girls. So, and then a lot of them get pushed into having to go out and find new, younger versions, like, because you gotta remember, these people like 9, 10, they like them little, young. Like, they say, oh God, it grosses me out, man. It grosses me the fuck out. Like, oh, can't even stand some of the shit that pops in my head. Ugh, it is rough. Yeah, being a seer, I think that is really is so accurate as a seer. Even though I heard somebody the other day say something about an oracle, I was like, well, that's interesting. Oracles, as I've also heard about. What was the other one? The word, I just said it before too. I can't think of it. But anyways, seer. And I even think, when I was watching Game of Thrones, the Red Witch, I completely related to her. And then when that movie I saw the other day, where the gypsy people, where I wasn't really sure if I had seen it before until I got to this part with the scarecrow. And I was like, oh, I've definitely seen this before. But the woman in it kept reminding me. And I talked about this before, too, because it was a lot earlier in my awakening. When I was like, show me who I am at my core. Show me something. I was really curious. Like, I was trying to understand myself. And it was so intense. And it seemed so real. When I went to bed and I had that dream, and I looked like this gypsy woman in this movie. That's why I kept being stuck on watching this woman, because she looked so much like me in this dream. And this long black hair, real skinny, real just like what you imagine a witch to look like. I swear to God. And but I hadn't thought of her as being the gypsy when I had seen her. I was kind of horrified at this dream. I was like, oh my God, what in the hell was I? Like, and the whole thing, what I witnessed was me being attacked and killed by these people. I'm just like so many of these fucking past life things where you just see yourself being killed. Like, I've seen myself being killed by soldiers a bunch of times. Like, because the one when I did the QHHT, and it was the whole thing with the the giant, and I was like, I knew my family was like well-to-do or something, and this giant, there was some kind of a thing where the giants, probably it was like they were bringing information to us or something, and then but the powers that be have always wanted to keep us separate, and so then they have always been like on the attack of anything. And so I think it was something like that, like trying to keep something hidden, why this problem occurred about the giants. And it wasn't, the giant wasn't there when I was killed. There was a part where I knew that there was this interaction, like that we were like friends or something with these giants. And but when I was killed, it was soldiers in my house looking for, and I was hiding, and then they pulled me out of wherever I was hiding, and they hit me in the back of the head and it killed me. And in this one, these soldiers, and this was a totally different time, and this was outside, and it looked kind of like Arizona deserty kind of. I don't know, it could have been probably in the Middle East somewhere, and but it was deserty looking, and I am pretty sure they were on horses, and then they were attacking me. But it kind of, when I had seen that, and then I think I saw the Game of Thrones later, and then when I saw the Red Witch, I don't remember if it was when the timing exactly, but when I saw the Red Witch, I was like, oh, see, I think I was a seer for it was like the kings or the generals or the people who were trying to keep control back then would use seers. And when I, through my life, because I was thinking about this yesterday, and through my life, when I've been able to see things for people, like somebody would be telling me something, and I could see, I would know how things were going to work out. And when I would try and tell them, especially to the kids and stuff, I would tell them, and they'd be like, oh, you always think you know what's going to happen and all that kind of stuff. And so, but yesterday what they were showing me, it was like, because it is part of, it's like part of the seer's journey or something, to let it go. Like you can't go and tell somebody else their stuff. They got to go and experience it. Even if you can see it, they still need to go and experience it. So they'll fight it. But where a seer has been used is by the military, kind of the forces that were trying to take over other ones, because then they would, have these people who wanted to stay alive look into, see what they saw was going to happen. And, and timelines can shift around. Things can play out differently than how you see them, because things are shifting. So you can see how it's going to play out if it were to go right now. But so I think it was kind of like, if you messed up back then you did it on purpose. Like, like they put too much on a seer, too much, like everything fell on you if a battle didn't go right or something. And so I think that's what would get you killed back then. And, a lot of people are seers and have been used as seers. It's, I don't know. I don't think it's like any crazy thing to be able to see. I think it is, everybody can see. It just depends on what they pay attention to and what they look at. Most people don't trust that aspect of themselves because they're still so attached to the three-dimensional, I don't want to say matrix, but the three-dimensional, it's like an access to an understanding, so that you can begin to develop your understanding of yourself. And, going through the three-dimensional, like I've said about a zillion times, is a part of the development, the part of the understanding so you can see. And, it has to be in this heavy, dense vibration to be able to play out a lot of this stuff that people want to play out. That's why I think for some people, like I think I'm pretty positive for my own self. I don't go down into negativity like I am here. Like this is horrible to me. This is so horrible. I can't. Like is where I was just like so mad yesterday at my guides. It was like I am literally in hell. This is hell. Like it's horrible. And like why am I being put through this like this, there's being, but you're seeing it all, you are aware of it. Like there's a certain thing where you have all this stuff happening to people and they have no awareness, none at all. But it's very different when you have awareness of it all. It's very frustrating. I'm like, to me, this is hell. And then not being able to be seen, not being able to be heard, and then it's like, and to have the awareness of like, I mean, we're not all perfect in these lives. We've come back. We've been, some shitty characters. Like, just when I see that lady, and I can see her so clearly, the one that they showed me that has, and I don't know if it has a huge impact on what I'm here doing now or what, but it was just, it was so unexpected when this was the one that came. I was really, thinking I was going to see this dream where I was like a angel or something. And then I'm like this really creepy looking lady and getting beaten out in the, I just was really, but, I definitely understand that I have understood my own power for a long time, but I don't think that I, naturally gravitate towards three-dimensional incarnations. Like it's heavy and it's dark to me. I do definitely think that I reside in a higher vibration place where it's much more about love and unity and compassion, and you don't feel these things that I have to keep feeling. But the things that I'm having to feel is, I have an understanding of them, and it is helping me expand, because, you got to remember, everything is for your expansion. And then so, going through hell is going to get you to realize some shit. And so, it is giving me more of an expansion of understanding. But I definitely don't think this is, this is someplace where I really feel like, that I spend more time in a much higher vibration. And that's why this just feels so horrendous to me. Like, it feels really horrible to me. And it is painful. Ugh, it's painful. It's painful to watch how people treat each other. It's fucking painful to watch people, how they treat animals. It's painful to watch how people treat their kids. Like, there's so many videos right now of these fucking what the fuck with these people? Like, motherfucking goddamn. And being a child who was sexualized is like, these people, they don't even know. Like, you be prepared when your kid grows up to be, I don't even know what some of these parents are going to have to be called. And what's interesting is that we're at this huge time of change and growth, and that it has to be this big jump. And so then it's like, it's not going to, I don't think it's going to be, 10 years from now, then you're going to get to find out, how you affected your child. Like, it's all going to go down way faster. There's got to be this huge jump. It's going to be a quantum jump into this other alternate reality. That's why it's going to be like a really powerful punch. It's going to be like, and probably with the souls that are going to be just waking up, is something inside of them that when some certain things come up, that it's going to impact them very differently than how we will be impacted, because it's part of their awakening, because it's part of their big jump where they got to move forward. So, there's so much coming out about these shows and stuff like that. And so, is it going to be that where, something inside of them is suddenly going to make them see themselves? Is it going to be just the stuff's going to keep crossing their page till they have to start thinking, like, this isn't good. Like, it's really, man, they've just messed with these people's heads so much. Like, to get somebody to think that it's gender neutral to cross-dress your child. Like, that was mental illness a few years ago when a woman was dressing her kid the wrong, and now to think like that's progress. No, it's not, because you haven't got to talk to the kid. Go back and listen to kids who went through it. They don't feel good about it. They're not happy about it. There's not little boys who are excited to show their new girlfriend pictures of them in dresses that their mom dressed them in. Like, you got. So I would assume that there's going to be some really impactful stuff. I think that, I don't know what Stormy is going to bring to the table, but I think she's going to bring some truth. And I think that this is getting all eyes on her. And they constantly have done this to Trump, is throw him under. So, of course, they're going to use it to their advantage. Oh, you want to get everybody talking about me? Good. So let's see what is going to be said. And so I think, it's already Stormy's out and pay him. And so she, in this whole thing where she's from that group, and Branson, and it's got Obama, it's all going down. They're all tied in together. And there's, like I said, they were all being surrounded. They were being surrounded, and they were being walled in. And it's just funny how he was saying certain words and saying certain things because they had a multiple meaning. And so it's going to be where, I think it's going to finally be where we're going to see some stuff. But there's a lot of people who are scared. Like, there's people who are scared, that he's going to prison. Even if they put him in there for a minute, it's going to be to expose more stuff. Because, now Hunter is admitted that that's his. And so it's all going to just collapse. That's what everything is going down for. And so to me, it's just keep stepping back a little bit and getting a view, a bigger perspective. Don't get caught up in every little thing as it is breaking apart, because it is frustrating, where people think like, oh, he's about to be arrested, this is going to happen, that. Yeah, I believe it's all to expose all these other people and their crimes, and to show, like, they have, what they have done with this, the election thing and the real person, like, it's scary. It's scary, and people are going to have to realize, like, they've gone into the biggest country, taken over leadership, done nothing but try and arrest this person. And old Joe, like, he's going to keep saying some ridiculous stuff. Like, he'll keep slipping up and dropping some stuff here and there. And that's because it's supposed to be. It's not even really Joe. It's some other guy, who's doing us all a favor. So, anyways, all of these things are all going to, they're all connected. It's all, and we're going to see how it's all connected. And, and it's weird too, is, did some of these people not have direct contact with her? Is she wearing a wig? Did she get surgery on her? Like, do they not recognize her? Is it just because she was under a different name? What is that one? That one just came into my mind again, that Chad or whatever. I can't think of what her name is. But, some of them, there's pictures of the people with these handler people. And so, they knew what some of them look like. So I don't know. I guess Allison, she was up for 100 years, and she got hers reduced to 3. And so, the Storm is doing kind of the same thing, only she's going to take the house down, I think. So we'll see. we'll see how this keeps playing out. I'm kind of excited now that that everything hasn't crashed and it's almost Friday, because Friday I want to go get, I want to get some wood, weed, a couple more things for my food, and go get some peppers and stuff like that. So I want to go get a few things Friday morning, hopefully. Now it's just like, okay, we just got to get through today and tomorrow. Change my attitude. Like, just hold on. Let me get to Friday. And so we'll see, how it goes. Like this morning when I got up and there was like no internet for so long, like it was a long time. There was no internet. I was like, well, this could be it. This could be how it goes down. Like, not a lot of bells and whistles, just a lot of, shutting a lot of doors. So, and giving you time to think, I guess. So, I don't know. We'll see. Now I just want to make it to Friday, and then hopefully Friday is when everything goes. But I mean, they've already got where so many more countries or whatever are adding on to the BRICS, and so the dollar has no value. Like it's a game. It's not. There's no value. It's only because we think, but the other countries have already said, hey, no, it's got no value. And, it's going to not be very long before the people who are going to work are going to see, like, what am I supposed to do with this? Even if they get a check, like, and, I know for sure any of the things, I haven't had any, nothing. Maybe today I'll get some, but I haven't even got my cable bill. Water bill. I would guess maybe the water, we'll see. They should start coming. Like, there should be some bills. So, I don't know. But I know, I'm going to say, well, how am I supposed to pay you? And it nulls out a lot of contracts. So, there's no contract when it says that you have to pay in U.S. dollars, and then there's no U.S. dollars anymore. So the contract's gone. But it's their own contract. It's their own stuff. So, don't stress it. It's letting us go of, illegal mortgages and all of their corrupt money bullshit. So that's where you got to know your own rights and know, your mortgage company is harassing you. Just hold on. Because in looking at your contracts, there's a contract where everybody's saying, it says you have to pay in U.S. dollars, and there's none of those left. So, anyways, that's where, and is it going to be that we're all going to have to just keep fighting them? Nope, we're not paying. Like, I stopped paying the credit cards in 2020. I didn't pay taxes. Let's see, I think 2021, I did my taxes because I got money back. I had like $400 or something. And then I didn't do taxes this year for sure. I don't think I did them last year. I didn't do them last year either. And there is one thing, though, that has me a little worried, is that ticket that I had gotten when I was going to Yakima a few months ago. And then their whole weird thing with their whole court thing. And it's been so weird and so shady. And then I get notified that they reduced my ticket by $5. So I suppose I was really, I was trying to pass to get over to the other highway. So I was going like 79 or 80 to pass a big old truck to get off the freeway. And the cop pulled me over right then. Then he wrote it down to 75 and 70. And then it goes to the judge. It was a $120 ticket or something like that. And then the judge, and I asked to have it reduced. So I have a perfect record and shit. And he reduced it by $5. And so I said what I thought to the secretary lady who told me. And I said, that's some bullshit. Like, y'all think that's okay? Like, I was some fucking bullshit. No, I fucking told her. The corrupt motherfucking bullshit. And I hung up on her. And she thought it was, perfectly acceptable. It's like, you need to fucking change a job, dude. Like, I just saw a teacher who, this young girl, she went and do the Pledge of Allegiance, and she's darker skin, and so she went against the Pledge of Allegiance. She said in second grade, and never has done it because she doesn't believe it as an umbrella that she is under of protection or whatever. And so she has been against it. And she's like in junior high or high school now. And she's walking through the hall while it's being done. And this teacher comes up and assaults her. And because she's not doing it. That is the stuff I'm talking about. There's certain people out there who are working who need to stop. Stop. If you can't recognize that you are out of control, you know, like as these Karens, and then plus this still going on with these videos of these standoffs where people have videotape on each other, trying to create a Karen, trying to create a scenario, and it's so desperate. But it is like people are just being ridiculous and out of control. So, you know, you have all these people out there working, they're just being dicks. I mean, it's happening in stores, restaurants, everything. It's like, because nobody wants to be out there in this bullshit, and that they keep doing it and feel forced. These people convince themselves they're victim to this world, and they're forced to have to go to work. You're not forced. You're making a choice because you think you need this apartment, you need this car, you need those clothes, you need all these things that you think you need is why you're going and doing it. It isn't, you know. And then once you start reprioritizing, and then you start going, do I really need this house? Do I really need this car? What do I really need to be happy? What would make me feel satisfied in life? Because this is no way to live. Just go to work just so you can have these things. That, and in most cases, like, people are paying for houses that they don't even get to spend time in. Like, those are things that each person has to realize and reprioritize for themselves. And so, you know, that's why everything is going. And there was some more stuff that was popping into my head, but you know, it's just like, you know, the neighbors keep trying to stay in the system. And like she told me the other day, how everything just keeps going wrong. Like, she was so happy to have spring break. She needed a break so bad because everything keeps going wrong. And that is what it's going to be. It's pushing people to push them to reprioritize their life, to let go of the life that they had created, thinking that that was going to be what they wanted, and to recognize that you're not satisfied, you're not fulfilled. What's going to make you feel better? What's going to make you feel more fulfilled? You have to decide. And it's like each person has to decide for themselves when they feel abused, when you feel like, hey, this isn't working for me. So, you know, each person has to decide. I just wish that they'd hurry up, and, like, for those of us who already decided, that they would just open up this quantum shift for us. Like, let me access my account. Let me start working on my house. Let me fucking go in the med bed. Like, hell yeah, I want to get in that fucking med bed. So, anyways, you know, I don't know how it's just going to keep going, but, you know, there is going to be change. It's up there. It's up there somewhere. You know, I just don't know how many fucking things we have to go through to get where we're going. And, you know, and when I hear people just really stuck on everything that's happening, I just skip it. I don't sit and watch because it's like, this isn't really happening though. This is just what you're focused on. You're just worried and focused on that, but this isn't what's really happening. And so many people are just focused on their fears. So, you know, and that's probably part of the reason why we're still being held back. Is people have to release their fears. They have to move into this new reality. And it's quite a process to let go of the old ones. So anyways, everybody just needs to do what they can and just keep releasing and letting go of things and looking at things deeper, questioning things, And, just don't get, you don't want to be small. You want to be as big as you can be. Just go big. Everything you think, everything, just go bigger, 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 bigger. Out of the box, out of the box. Don't restrict your thoughts, your understanding, your perspective. Don't restrict yourself. Become bigger, not smaller. That's what I say. Anyways, we'll just see how this continues to play out. I think it's going to be pretty exciting if they, if they brought their own. It's like it's like they brought their own. There's a whole bunch of things coming into my head, but it's like they created the megaphone that's going to take them down. Like they are doing it to themselves. That's why, this whole time where people are like, well, we have to go do this and we have to do that. It's like, no, the energy is going to do it. They're going to do it to themselves. They've corrupted themselves so much. It's turning in on them. Like, it's how energy works. It's how the cosmic system works. So they're turning is the energy that they were trying to go in a certain direction is flipping back on them. Like, we don't have to do anything. We don't have to go down. I mean, like, there's people who are doing it in all different places, standing up for themselves. Like I said, it was going to go down in all different places in different ways, depending on the energy of what they had to overcome as a collective in these different areas. Like, what's going on in Iran right now is really, really, like, there's a lot of civil war going on in some places. But it is time for the people to take a stand. They've been bullied and beaten down for a long time. So they have to stand up for themselves as part of their process. But it's not going to be the same for every single one. It seems like Tennessee seems to be coming together as a collective to stand up. Probably Ohio. Like, there's so much stuff in. And now they're sending people out there who are supposed to be testing and they're getting sick. And that is all their ploy to lead it into, okay, well, we've determined this is a dangerous place. We need to move everybody. It's all about hurting. It's all about control. It's about putting us where they want us to be. So people got to see, you don't want to go where they want you to go. That's the last place you want to be, because that is going to be more forced stuff. There'll be sickness there at 100%. Like, even if they can't just, flood us with these avian or whatever the fuck, in the places where they're going to say, like, oh, well, we've got to herd everybody into this camp and we're going to have tents. It's overcrowded. It's sick. We weren't prepared for so many people. There's a problem with the food. There's a problem with this. And suddenly all these people are getting sick and dying. It's because they're doing it. They're doing it to you on purpose. They want you. You're contained. You're in their pot now. So you don't want to go to where they tell you to go. And I don't know how long this is going to play out, but, over there on... Oh, and in California, there's started some earthquakes. There was an earthquake, I think it was like by San Jose, a 4.5 or something like that, and over by the Philippines, and there's some big earthquakes going. So that reverberation is going to come over and hit into the California tectonic plates that are already there's way too much moisture. And somebody else was saying there's another bad thing too. Something about this, all of the snow and all of the melting or something is going to go down and go into the ocean, which is going to cause a problem. And it's called something. Now, I don't even know about that. So, I mean, it's just going to keep being like chaos, and communities coming together. But those souls are all there together for that. And the more people start recognizing that, all these people... Like, these people are, we're all from this same existence. Like, even if I am from someplace that is like a vibration where it is, like flowers blooming vibration, where everything's just like a birthing and beautiful, then... And then there's vibrations where you have to come down and learn, and oh, it's gross and horrible. But we're all, no matter where we are in the system, in the solar system, in the body, that it is, we're still all the same teapot. So we're still all from the same, and in soul world, we have so much more respect for each other than we do in, living world. Living world, we, just people forget and they're just assholes to each other and stuff like that. And there was another thing that just popped into my head too that I wanted to say was, dang. Oh, I don't know. I can't remember now. It just popped in really quick. Something. I don't know. Anyways, just stay strong and stay safe. You gotta keep, like, I know that some of y'all have to still go out and work. I know, like, I'm fortunate. I had no idea how fortunate I was when they told me I couldn't work anymore. Like, it was like so hard for me for the first few years. I felt so rejected and, so much shame. And then now I feel like, God damn, that was a gift. Like, fuck. Now seeing what people are having to go out, and so many people there are really trapped. Like, they've got an apartment, they got food, they got a car, they don't know how they're going to pay for it. There's people who can't decide if they should buy food or gas. Like, there was people who are really in some tough positions. In all those positions are for you to question, for you to grow, for you to get over, for you to reprioritize, for you to understand yourself. And so, if you are still one of the people who's having to go out into this world and go and work, you got to stay safe. You got to, because they are going to keep flooding with the initiators, the instigator people, those people, all the criminals, that's on high gear. And the besides all of the those kinds of things, you got the chemicals that were, people are sick anyways. And so, you have a lot of things that you're fighting against to continue to try and be in the system. And just like my neighbor said, everything just keeps going wrong and going wrong and going wrong. And it has to get to a point of just trusting of, you'll be okay. And I don't know, I can't tell people just stop paying your rent and stuff like that. Don't do this, don't do that. Because if you do, you can be pushed out the door and then you're out into this world of chaos. I would just say put equal time into doing things that are going to make you better. Like if it is painting, if it is crocheting, if it's cooking, if it's knitting, if it's whatever it is that you feel like that you can do, that you can go out and offer to somebody else, that you can make money for your own self. Make sure you're putting equal time into that. Whatever it is that you feel like you're good at, put time into that, not just time of your job, because your job's going to end. And you're going to need this, your skills developed. You're going to need to be prepared to take care of yourself. So, just be aware, all the jobs are going to be ending. It's going to be a big change. Like they're saying they're going to go to a 4-day week and stuff like that. But a lot of places, like there's going to be, this is where I think where we're going to have leadership for a while because of the transition of being able to go from corporate world into things not being there for us. And I also notice that every single one of these, like Trump was speaking last night, all the ones I'm seeing, I think even with Joe, there's no fringe on any of the flags. So the maritime thing is like everything is switching. It's all switching. And so there's not going to be these regulations and rules and laws over us like that there was, what we thought was real life. That was really just, somebody deciding to make rules and laws over us. And so the fringe is gone, and that I think is really significant. So anyways, these corporations are going to keep crashing. They're going to keep going under. But there's going to be certain things that we're going to need to keep, life going. And that is why I think they're going to be jump on board, like people who want to bring agriculture. Like I hear it over and over and over. If you've got ideas for humanity, proposals for things that are going to be good for communities and stuff, that those things are going to get like tons of money. They're going to be putting tons of money into that kind of stuff. So I think a big one will be something with agriculture and food and stuff, and healthy things, healing things, all of that kind of stuff. So even if it is that you want to start a healing center, you know, you want to start a healing center in Switzerland or something, is, you know, and you've got family from there. Well, I don't think you would be able to, like, the money that is going to be, like, the American money is going to go back into America. The money that is in Africa is going to go into Africa. Like, all of the money was divided up. So you can't go and take, like, you know, you can't go and propose here, like you want to make a center, and then you want to go to Switzerland and take it. It would be more like you would make a center here in America, and then you would make contact with, like, you would kind of form your own alliance with somebody over there or something. So, and we'll be able to do that kind of stuff. Like, we're going to be able to cross over boundaries before that they try to restrict us in. And like there's other dual citizenship and stuff like that, where we can have citizenship where we have our heritage, our culture, our where our families came from, that we can go in and have dual citizenship to those places. So, and, you know, and it sounds like crazy to us, where we've all, you know, had to pay money to have a passport every few years and all this fucking bullshit. And their licenses and all that stuff. That was all against our human rights. That was all, you know, they should have not been doing that. And they shouldn't have been controlling how we moved and stuff. They didn't have any right to do that. They're self-proclaimed controllers. And it comes from the top. It comes from these people who have been around for eons, like who are a part of the controller, the puppeteers, the ones behind the curtain, the ones that have been around for fucking centuries probably. So anyways, just keep working on you, and don't feel down, and don't feel like everything is happening is it's just, you know, going to play out the way it's going to play out. And, you know, like when it's raining here, I try and not go outside. I try and get Stella in and stuff, because they are doing acid rain. I think they're putting chemicals on us on purpose. And then some of those chemicals have sickness and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, they're doing everything they can. But just remember, even if you get sick, try not to fear. Like, as they program people that you're going to die, you get it, you're going to die. Try and remember that's programming. And fight against any of that kind of stuff. And that you won't die unless you believe you're going to die. That's what I think. I mean, there's a set time that you will go, but everything is changing right now. And I think a lot of people who are going is because they believe they're going to go, or because they're supposed to go. That was their time. But I think there's going to be an aspect that we're going to learn from this, where a lot of people went because they thought they were going to. Like, I've seen this girl lately. I see a lot of people, like a lot of people are getting sick. And this girl who just had a hard, she was in a lesbian relationship, and they had 3 kids. The one was abusive, I guess. The one partner was abusive and then stole the kids. I don't know if she left state or what, but she stole the kids, leaving this other girl no rights, not getting to see her kids. I don't know all of their different issues and stuff. But, you know, this has been her journey that she'd been talking about on TikTok for a while, of how the struggles and everything she's going through with the court, not getting to see her kids. She's always really super depressed and sad. Well, now she's got cancer and she's really sick. And, you know, I'm sitting there watching her talk, and I had to flip past, as she kept popping up, and I had to keep flipping past it because I can just feel like people just get to this point of just like to just give up. They just give up. But that's either it's because your soul knows it's time to go, or it's because you're going to learn that you gave up. So it's like, you know, I say, you know, fight to the end, believe in yourself. And if you find yourself outside of this reality, just know you completed the task. It's okay. And you'll go and you'll see some people that you hadn't seen in a while. And it'll be a really fun homecoming. And there still seems to, there's something that keeps popping in about that. The people passing the and crossing over, the welcoming back. I can't say. Anyways, just you know, don't fear. There's nothing to fear. You know, there's just nothing to fear. And I know it's hard to really believe that and to keep that as a part of your routine, to keep reminding yourself, like, there's nothing to fear. Even if I die today, death is an illusion. Death's not real. Death is something that they created to get us to fear, like that something would happen that we could end, and then it's just not true. You'll see. You'll just walk right out of this body and you'll just go right into another. Oh yeah, because it was like all these people who are, you know, Jesus is coming soon. Jesus is coming soon. Christ consciousness is awakening. I mean, I feel sad for these people who just keep sitting there waiting for Trump to get in to fix things for them, or for Jesus to come fix things for them. It's like, no, you have all this time and opportunity to be fixing things. Don't hide from who you are. Don't hide from your pain and suffering. Don't hide and depend on someone to come in and fix anything. It's like you have to do the work. That's the fixer, is you. So anyways, I will talk to you later. Work on you.